Hey, this is Pamela Riemenschneider for Produce with Pamela for Blue Book Services. I have Amanda Keefer here with me, and we are talking about our trend forecast. Amanda's with Produce for Kids, and they track trends for their content for their upcoming schedule. And we want to make sure that retail buyers especially are not caught on your heels about what consumers and families especially are looking for. What are people looking to make at home, Amanda?
You mean besides lemons and bananas?
I got pears too.
And pears? Got to keep the theme going here. I'm going to run out of produce. Okay, so yes, we don't want anyone to be caught on their heels, and trends are changing really quickly these days. When social media, Instagram, something catches on like wildfire, you got to move on it. One of our most visited recipes, or what we're seeing a lot of, is the Buddah Bowl. And so I think it kind of crept onto the scene last year around this time, and a lot of restaurants are offering it on their menus for a pretty penny, I might say.
Yeah, they're not cheap. We had something like this on vacation last week. It was $17 from the hotel we were at in Houston. So yeah.
Yeah, so you get it. So what we're seeing is that you can create this at home. And a lot of the items that are part of the Buddah Bowl are in the produce department. And they don't have to be complicated. They can be as simple as dissecting your we talked about Taco Tuesday last time, but the Taco Tuesday, but dissecting it into a bowl, or doing like the noodle bowl or the rice bowl, something really simple that's in that format. And there's tons of recipes out there. But I think really showcasing that and how simplistic it can be, and getting people familiar with it and not afraid that it's some fancy thing that they can't create. On Produce for Kids, we do a series called Build Your Own, and it's an infographic where you kind of plug in like, what's your base, what's your protein, what's your, and you go through, and you can easily just roll through that and kind of pick out how you want to create your own bowl, which is fun for kids too, because they like to get in there.
My kids love that choose your own adventure food, and fits into it really nicely. We've kind of stuck to it when we make our own pho at home. But the one thing that I thought was really interesting when we were chatting about this before was that I'm imprinted on the idea that this bowl thing is taco-y, some kind of avocados and corn and beans and tomatoes and peppers. But now you've reminded me that there's a whole lot of other kinds that people are looking for, right?
Yes, I love in my local Publix, I'm sure other grocery stores do this too, they do a poke or poke, however you want to, people say differently. Poke, whatever. The poke bowl, but I love tuna, and so they do a really good, like a sesame ginger dressing, and it's almost like a kind of a deconstructed sushi. But that's one of my favorites.
We have a poke place that's actually like 1 mile from my house, and I live on the far northern side of Austin, where it is not cool here, but we still have 2 poke places within about 2 miles of my house. So that's actually another one that I hadn't really thought about. So this one also fits into another trend that I was thinking of, and that's what I use my Instant Pot for, is cooking the rice. So you can actually, keep your kitchen cool in the summer by making this choose your own adventure meal, lots of little dishes with lots of options. And that's where the retail side of this can come in, is to provide the inspiration for consumers to think of making their own bowls at home. And then, of course, in the value-added section, I actually have a bowl from one of the companies down in my fridge right now, where you can just pop it in the microwave and cook it yourself. And that's a significant savings over that room service burrito bowl that my kids ate last week.
No more of those.
So this also segues into another trend that we're looking at, especially going into the hottest parts of the year, and that is where consumers are saying, you know what, I don't want to cook. So what kinds of no-cook inspirations should retailers be prepared for?
So a lot of salads. The bowls are a really good example. You don't have to, cook anything for those. I mean, produce always shines, but produce really shines this time of year with so much seasonal produce coming at us in all directions from so many different places in the US, so many close by fresh options. So I think that, you know, really showcasing all of the produce as much as possible in these no-cook recipes. I have seen, and I feel like I've sent you this, it's like the board, which is also
Mhm.
something that's like, kind of like hard for us to, like that European style of just a cheese board, you know, that incorporates fruits and vegetables and meats and cheeses and whole wheat crackers. And so I think that I'm seeing more of where the family is getting over that, like, here's my plate, here's your plate, here's all our plates, and this is our dinner. So I think
And
summertime,
here's my meat, and here is my starch,
yeah,
and here's my vegetable. And that like divided plate thing that you
yes,
get that has the little pictures on it of that's kind of gone out the window. And we even did this last night for our dinner. And I think it's really valuable to remind people that this does not have to be complicated. You know what we ate for dinner last night? We had some sausages that my husband had bought wrapped in a tortilla, and then I had pineapple chunks, and I had some nectarines. We had some peaches and some watermelon and some cucumbers.
yep.
And that was it. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be artistic. If you are totally strapped for time, produce is actually one of your fastest options because
I
it doesn't
agree.
require cooking. You can just eat it. So,
Yes. And I'm telling you, I bought just at, you know, Home Goods or wherever, one of like the big boards, and I'll put it right in the center of the table, and the kids are coming in from the pool, and I will just throw grapes, I'll throw cheeses, I'll throw everything on there, and that's our dinner. And we sit there and we talk and we eat
mhm.
well. It's not maybe what we traditionally think of as dinner, but I think especially in the summer, the no cook, that's a great option.
Definitely. And it's something that when you're done, you can just like pop some like a cover over it, throw it back in the fridge, and bring it back out later because it's still great later.
Yeah,
A
no
lot of the
dishes.
stuff. Yeah,
You're not cooking, you're not doing dishes. This is amazing.
I know we should actually like come up with an entire book of recipes about this. But
Yeah.
that also brings me to the other thing that we were talking about, and that is, you know, we're looking at the vacation lifestyle. A lot of us have been on vacations recently. How do I keep my family from going into the convenience store and coming out with $37 worth of corn nuts and um, pork rinds and
Yeah.
and one little thing of cantaloupe? What do we do to try to eat while we're on the road?
Well, I think that we have a lot of options of um, fresh cut in the grocery store that's already, you know, if you're in a pinch, you're ready to get on the road. I think stopping at your local grocery store, we have a lot of options, probably showcasing for retailers want to showcase that. I know everybody's heard this time and time again, but showcasing that in the front and center, someone who's
Mm-hmm.
quick, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to get on the road. I need
Well,
all
the
these
thing
things.
is, though, that they have this on the go section, but I don't know of too many retailers that remind you that, hey, are you traveling? Like,
Yes.
you need
Because
to,
sometimes we need that reminder. Like,
yeah,
yes, I am. Thank you for
this is a
asking.
vacation. Yes, yeah, this is what I actually need to take on my vacation because I've walked into the store literally the day before I go on vacation and looked around and gone to the chip aisle. And I didn't even think, you know, I carry a cooler with us when we travel. Most people take a cooler with some drinks or whatever in there. Why don't you go ahead and already pick up some fresh cut or do it yourself and pack it up? I think it's because I don't even think of it when I'm in the store. So a little reminder of, hey, it's vacation season. Why don't you make your own snacks and save some money and eat better?
I
Um,
can even see that as a cross merchandising opportunity with like a little cooler and the ice packs and
mhm.
here's all the stuff you need. Because I'd be like, okay, in the cart, let's go. I have everything. I have the
Yeah,
cooler, I
sometimes
have
I
the
feel
ice
like they
pack.
give us too much credit because they think, well, we have the case right here, and
Yeah, we
all
need help.
no, don't give me that much credit. I need to be sometimes hit upside the head with the idea of no, really, you need to do this. So I love to see these displays. I just walked into HEB at lunchtime over here, and there was this kiddie pool set up in the front of the produce department with watermelon sliced in it, and it just reminded me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get a watermelon. But it was the kiddie pool thing that actually drew my attention If I see it in the case, I often don't think of it, but just to have me stop in my tracks, because I was at Schlitterbahn in Galveston last week, and I picked up some decent food to take with us, but the people next to us at their table, because you can bring your own food in, they had a cooler and they had a big, huge slice of watermelon, and then they had a bunch of pineapple spears, and it was super simple stuff. And I was so jealous because my snacks were not that tasty looking. Mine were like, you know, squeezy applesauce and stuff. And I was like, why didn't I get a watermelon to take with me to Schlitterbahn? I was super jealous. I almost took a picture of it, but I thought that would have been creepy. But, you know.
Well, even, I mean, come on, there's like, I think it's just a reminder, like you said, because there's on-the-go ranch dips, little packets of carrots, you know, there's little packets of everything these days. And so I feel like even the guacamole and things like that you can find, my kids, I throw that into the cooler and they're all about it, especially if I put some of those dips in there too.
Don't give us so much credit, retailers. We need the more than a gentle nudge. I need a sign, I need a guide. I think that's wrapped up our topics for this edition of the Produce Trends Forecast with Amanda Keefer from Produce for Kids. Thanks again for joining me, Amanda, and stay tuned for more from Produce with Pamela for Blue Book Services. No, seriously, at Schlitterbahn, I was like, wow, that looks really good. I was almost a creeper. I was almost with my phone, like taking a picture, but this was, you know, people in their swimsuits. I'm going to take a picture of somebody in their swimsuit at a table next to me.
Oh, funny.
Putting my sunblock back on.
You know what I do sometimes? I pretend like I'm taking a selfie, but I'm really taking a picture of something, and I'll be like, oh. Taking a picture that way.
Stealth mode. I'm taking a picture of the food that you have because I'm jealous.
Yeah.
It serves me right, man. Pineapple spears. I don't even think of them at the store, but they look so good. Yeah, pineapples. We need pineapples everywhere.